And now, Ralston reports.
Welcome back to the program. We're here with Congresswoman Dina Titus of the 1st District in Nevada. So you just got back from San Francisco. There was a fundraiser up there, but you did have some official business. You decided to go visit a place. I think it's called the Apothecarium.
Right.
And that's a medical marijuana facility.
It is.
And how did you decide to go there and why?
Well, I was going to be in San Francisco, and I just wanted to check it out because I'm co-sponsoring several bills in Congress that have to do with legally established in states marijuana facilities. So I wanted to learn as much about it as I could, and the Apothecarium has a very good reputation in California as doing it right.
Did you learn anything while you were there?
Well, I did. I asked some good questions about, how is it regulated, what kind of security do they have, what do they offer to patients, what about insurance coverage, and what about banking? That's one of the bills I'm co-sponsoring. Right now, any federal banks will not be able to do business with a legitimately established marijuana dispensary. And that's unfortunate because it makes it all cash and carry. And that's a lot of money in brown paper bags that you can't regulate, tax, and it just leads, I think, to criminal activity.
You know, it's interesting. This goes all the way back, as you know. I mean, you were only about halfway through your legislative career when this passed on the ballot.
That's right.
A couple of times. It's been almost a decade and a half. Doesn't that strike you as crazy, Congresswoman, that we are 15 years out almost from that, and we're just now talking about setting up dispensaries? There have been dozens, hundreds, I don't know, thousands of potential patients who've been denied this for years when it passed overwhelmingly. It was 2-1
right.
In 2000. Isn't there something wrong with the system that creates that?
Well, it is hard to imagine that 2-1 people in Nevada wanted to establish this, and
right.
It's taken over a decade to have enabling legislation, which was just passed last session, and now the counties and the cities are doing their, I guess, due diligence to give out a certain number of licenses. But when you hear the stories, too, of people who need pain management, to cancer patients, it helps with nausea, you think that, of course, let them try whatever a doctor thinks might be helpful. And I'm very supportive of that. I supported the initiative. And, 22 states now have that legal.
They do. And now the problem seems to be the disparity between what the federal law is and what's
right.
going on in the states. So you've introduced this package of bill. You're co-sponsoring a package of bill. And here's what you said last month when you introduced this package to protect medical marijuana businesses and patients. State adoption of marijuana laws and accompanying regulations has created a legal patchwork of conflicting state, local, and federal statutes. As a result, there is a great deal of uncertainty and confusion for Nevadans and residents of other states where marijuana use is legal. What they're confused about is they think they should have this. A lot of patients think they should have it. So what are these bills going to do, and what are their chances of passage?
Well, there are a couple of different ones. One is the banking, saying that federal banks can do business. No small business wants to operate just on cash, and so that would fix that problem. And then the other one has to do with prosecution, that if you are following a state law, the federal government can't prosecute you. In addition, we've written a letter through the appropriations process to say, don't give any money to the Justice Department to fund going after people who are obeying state laws. Right now, there are about 30 co-sponsors of this, all of them Democrats. They're from Colorado, Washington, and me. But I think if we start to talk about this more with those 22 states that have medical marijuana, we will see the momentum build, because this is coming fast.
Well, I've talked to you about this before, but the real problem seems to be that marijuana is still a Schedule I drug, and that's going to be a problem. And this is so crazy because the government recently signed off the feds on a study using marijuana to treat veterans for post-traumatic stress disorder. This is from the Huffington Post, Congresswoman. What that means is we have labels, lists of side effects, knowledge of different strains, and how they have different effects. The study, however, is only a first step. Currently, 6 states specifically list PTSD as a qualifying condition to receive medical marijuana: New Mexico, Delaware, Oregon, Connecticut, Maine, and Nevada. This situation is crazy, and you mentioned that the patchwork on all this stuff. But, things could change, too. If a Republican were to be elected president in a couple of years, if the makeup of Congress changed, you could have people, the Obama administration says it won't crack down on the states, but maybe the next administration will.
I know. That's why you need legislation. You're already seeing some of that disparity where you have very conservative U.S. attorneys going after some of the facilities. Like you saw that in California, certainly. So that's why you need federal law that establishes if it's legal in a state, the federal government's not going after you. That's the first step. Then reclassifying it may be the next step.
Yeah, but I mean, if veterans can get this,
right? Well,
right?
in the test.
But even in the test,
but the fact that you're acknowledging that it has potential beneficially.
Exactly. That's crazy because Schedule 1 means there's a potential for abuse and that it has no therapeutic value.
Right.
If you're doing a test with veterans, think about all the potential patients who are watching this program now saying, why can't I be part of that test? I'm in pain.
Well, and they will soon be able to get marijuana if they are in pain with the doctor's prescription as soon as these dispensaries are set up here. I understand that by the end of the year they think they will be up and operating. It was amazing to visit this facility. It was like being in a drugstore. It's very scientific, very measured, very tested. People who were dispensing it had master's degrees in public health and in chemistry. So this is not some head shop on the corner. It's a very legitimate operation.
30 seconds left. Seriously, what are the chances of getting it removed from Schedule 1?
Well, that's going to be tougher than just saying you're not going after people. Already the president issued a directive not too long ago saying it's going to be a low priority to go after banks doing business. But like you say, you can't count on that because he'll be gone in 2 years. You need to put it in statute.
All right. Congresswoman, always a pleasure having you on the program. Thanks for coming.